From asking me to marry her over text to accusing me of the most heinous crimes.
Being pissed off at the asshole who went after my kid. Caleb, you're a asshole. Saying it right here publicly. You're an asshole and you're not a Christian. Went after a little boy.
Over a dozen fake Facebook accounts, Instagrams, YouTube handles, and TikToks. This video will show how to prove stalking. All right, so when I last left off, I talked about all the crazy voicemails I was getting and how disturbing it was that I had to sit there and listen to her talk about men she slept with, listening to her drunkenly talk to her friends and scream at them and then delete the messages and say, sorry, didn't mean to send that. It's just pretty jarring and disturbing to watch. So at a certain point, we were having trouble getting her served to go get a protective order. That we're definitely working on it since that TikTok of April. Couldn't get a solid address. We'd tried multiple avenues to get it done. But she moves around a lot and hops from couch to couch and burns bridges with friends. She'll get in good with a friend of hers and then be living somewhere else, kind of off the grid, and then burn bridges with that friend and move somewhere else. She'll always find people that buy her story and her sob story of how I'm evil and coming after her. And she's hard to find. So all this time I'm getting these, God, you're not taking accountability. You're a bad person. You're a fraud. And I'm getting these lovey-dovey voicemails from her. So me and my attorney have an idea that we're going to try and see if she'll meet up with me. In the presence of my attorney, I messaged Stephanie and I said, hey, let's meet up. I'm hearing all the stuff you're saying, and I'm sorry that, it's kind of getting pretty far. I'm kind of sick of doing this. I'm tired of it. I want to kind of resolve this. And immediately she gets into, oh my God, no, get away from me. Oh God, and she freaks out and she won't talk to me. And she's like, you're trying to have me arrested. You're trying to do all this, just paranoid. And it's confusing to me because in all the messages that I played for some of you, that I played for you guys, she says, if you ever want to meet up, if you ever want to hang out, then just message me and we'll do it. So I'm like, hey, I can't find her, so let's try and get her served. So I message her and I say, hey, let's go. Let's do it. And she's like, no, God, no, get away. I'm scared. I don't know what your intentions are. And so it doesn't work. Me and my attorney decide, all right, we're just going to call it and cut it off. So I'm annoyed. I'm confused. And then she starts saying, God, no, this time I'm saying no to you, Caleb. This time I'm not going to pursue you. You want to keep trying to meet me and confuse me. I just go on about my life, man. It's not working. She deletes that Instagram, and I think we're good until August 2023. I get more comments on YouTube, and it's another account, another fake account for YouTube. It's got her profile picture and her name in it, right? So I know it's her. It's not someone acting on her behalf that I can tell. It's her, and it's literally a ton of messages again. And she goes, since YouTube likes to delete my comments, I just wanted to see if you'd private message me so I can confess something, preferably tonight so I can get it over with. So before on the Instagram when she's saying, I'm not something you can get it over with, how dare you? She messages me and says, I want to message you preferably tonight so I can get it over with. So real nice of her to not hold herself to the same standard. And then she goes, confess/apologize, call it what you want, and not to anyone else. You have my Insta that's blocked. So she acknowledges I blocked her, right? That's like her third or fourth Instagram at that point that I blocked. And again, I don't respond back. But what could she be talking about? What does she need to apologize for, do you think? Well, she went to my church. She apparently told them about my podcast and how I exploited her and how bad of a person I am. So this church, without question, pulled me to the office and said, hey, your podcast, we don't like it. And I asked for specific clips. What parts do you not like? Do you want me to delete them? They said, yeah, we don't want to go into that. And you're just going to be off of prayer team. And I got kicked off prayer team. They assigned me somebody to check in with me and kind of be a mentor to me. And I was annoyed, but I was like, this guy's a really good dude. I could actually see this working. He ghosted me. So they never had any intention of trying to follow up with me. And I'm glossing over the story because we're going to do an episode on it, a full episode on why I left the church I was at, which was Mercy Culture Church. I left. I was not kicked out, but there was enough going on. I was kicked out of all the stuff I was in based on what she did. She went in. I don't know what story she told them because they weren't honest with me about it. They just said, we don't like your podcast, so you're off of all this stuff that you were doing. Prayer team, small group leading. I was off of it. No questions, no real path to redemption. So I was promoted to guy who shows up and supposed to pay tithe. And I decided to switch churches. Wasn't kicked out, but they kicked me off of a lot of stuff I was doing. And they were not honest about why. They just said, we don't like your podcast. So I switched churches. That's where I met the woman who ended up would be my wife, which is pretty cool. So Stephanie got me to switch churches, but she accidentally sent me to meet the person who would be my wife. So some good things can happen. I feel like the Lord was still looking out for me. So good job, Stephanie. You actually really helped me out there. In October of 2023, me and my now wife, at the time we were just dating, I don't think we're official yet, we were heading out to a date at another cigar lounge because I like cigars. And Stephanie made another YouTube, this time without her profile picture, but it has like her half of her first name, half of her last name, and she squeezed it together. I'm going to blur it out. And she is on something. So right out the gate, she goes, "Hey, I know I don't text when I have a real non-emergency, but I do, so please show up. I showered up plastered at an emergency building." And then she tries to describe the building, but there's typos. And then she corrects it building. And I'm getting rapid fire messages. "While I'm in, the internet doesn't work. I think I may die. And I'll make a peace treaty if you save me." Peace treaty. I don't know what she means. Peace treaty. And then she says, "From being I think she was trying to say trafficked, but she's drunk and she's being a little bit scary here. She says, "Can you bring a gun? I'm currently vomiting. Court midweek, so can't die. It's cool. I'm listening to Upper Room. I don't think they'll be here until 2 hours." So she thinks someone's chasing her. She's showing some weird signs here of she's hearing things. People are after her. Those are normally signs of what professionals, not me, would say schizophrenia. But I'll give her some credit. She's probably drunk, right? And she even admits in a previous recording that she gets weird when she's drunk.
I'm not going to lie, like me and alcohol, it's just a show.
Right. "I'm scared, so pray I have a dark feeling. Me nearly dying, can't be on the record for my son's sake. Good shepherd, Upper Room. I hear God, and no problem matters." I can't read this. This is ridiculous. And then she gives me her address. She gives me the code to get in, what suite she's in. It is creepy. "Can you bring a gun? I'm vomiting. Can't stop vomiting. I'm scared I'll die. I'm not supposed to die." Over and over and over. And she talks about she'll leave me alone if I come save her. I'm not taking the bait on that. She just got me in trouble with church, and now she wants me to walk in. She gives me a very specific address and what floor. And she's like, "A man just walked in. I have a dark feeling." And she just starts going crazy. It's insane. And I ignore it because I don't know what to do. So then later on, a couple days later, she deletes all that. I left it up, and she deletes it the next day because she sobered up. I mean, even at one point, she gets mad that I'm ignoring her. So she sends me $70 through Venmo and puts in the captions, "The night you bought me drinks and got my body. Bye." So through the advice of my attorney, I sent her $70 and put in the description, "unsolicited money transfer." And I blocked her. Then she tried to send the money to Darcy and tried to block Darcy. So I had the upper hand. She says, 50 when you paid for my nails and had Jesus time over coffee, and 70 when Caleb bought me drinks and got my body. Thanks. Then she blocked Darcy real fast, thinking that she'd keep it. And I don't know what she tried to accomplish. Would she try to feel better? I don't know. I don't know what she was going for with this. So Darcy sent me the money. I unblocked her for 5 seconds, sent her the money, reblocked her. Then she unblocked Darcy and sent it again with another passive-aggressive message and tried to block Darcy again. So this time I was determined. I told all my friends, block her on your account. Told Paul to block her on his account. And I said, get ready, Darcy. So she sent me the money. I unblocked Stephanie, sent her the money, reblocked her. And as Stephanie tried to unblock Darcy and was typing out a message, Darcy blocked her. So she was unable to send money. And then Stephanie went on my YouTube and tried to blow up my stuff again. And 5 days later, more stuff. She's mad at my podcast again. You don't have the consent of the women you're talking about to exploit on an online podcast. If you know me and Darcy's podcast, we talk about, bad relationship advice when we read off of message boards. There's no names. It's all anonymous, but you don't have consent. I'm like, consent from who, right? I'm a so-called Christian. Your actions are hurtful. And then she tries to dox herself. Let me reveal myself. And then she starts listing stuff. I've never talked about her on the show other than that one time we anonymously put her messages in ChatGPT, didn't say her name or anything. Then she starts accusing me of stuff. She doxes what I do for work. Then she says that, oh, we were physical that night and she was wasted. And now she's implying that she didn't consent. Then she starts posting on her own channel some really bad stuff. She says I suck. And then talks about Bible study confronting me. She tries not to say my name. She goes, hey, C. And then says I exploited her on my podcast. And then, I never talked about her on the show. Never mentioned her name or anything until part 1 of this series. But she keeps listening to clips from the show way out of context and says I'm talking about her. And we had barely any interaction before that because most of this time I haven't been messaging her back, right? I'm not saying anything to her. And then she, on her own channel, people comment, oh, what's the name of the man or the podcast so we can publicly shame him? She said, the guy says, don't sneak diss this guy. You said you want to put him on blast, so here's the chance to do so, right? And then she goes, I'll critique the podcast with a friend. We just bought our podcast equipment to do so. That's a lie. I waited weeks and nothing came out. And then years later, nothing came out, right? When I upload that content, it will be easily findable. For the sake of defamation, I'll make sure it's accessible without saying his name. Like I'm doing. Isn't that nice? She's so nice to me. So I'm going on about my life. And then again, she gets drunk again and she starts, not as bad as the first time, but she starts saying she wants to meet up with me. She tells me what restaurant she's at. She tells me where to go. And look, I screenshot this because I'm trying to show that she is commenting on my post. It's a picture of me and her comments. And again, she starts talking about, now I'm in the hospital. I have a speculum in me and just giving me stuff I don't need to hear, right? And then another YouTube account, fake, starts coming in and messaging me and starts putting all this stuff in here. So later on, again, now we're in November, and she's still sending me stuff off another fake YouTube, okay? She says, I blocked you on my main YouTube account, but I think you should still get my comments. Anyways, if I didn't make myself clear, then continues to journal. Part 6, Part 5, Part 4, okay, I'm alive. She's sending me all these updates. And I'm thankful, and money means nothing. In the end, she starts talking about living in her car. She starts just posting all this stuff I don't care about publicly, back and forth, stuff I don't need to read. And then again, another day, 2 days later, today was the worst, and just keeps going on and on. Messages. It's very important, guys. Screenshot these, timestamp them the way I said that one time. She logs into another account, so it's important you get that in there. And just nonstop, message after message. And in this one, she makes another jab at me. She says, here's the tea. A guy in my old church, made a video saying, thank God he never got an STD. Yeah, I never said that. I think on one of the episodes, I made a joke about an STD, but it had nothing to do with her. And of course, she takes it out of context and starts saying, I'm talking about her. And she's posting all these passive-aggressive videos of her taking a sip of something and acting like she's roasting me, but she isn't. And it is about this time, December 2023. We're getting close to the end of the story, which is nice. I don't know if there's going to be a part 5 or anything, but we're getting close to the bulk of how I got her served, right? December 16th, 2023, almost a year ago at the time of this recording, we hired a private investigator to get her served. And we got her served. And it was a temporary ex parte protective order saying until we have court, which was after a weekend and whatnot. It was like the next week, pretty quick. It says do not contact. And on the hearing, it'll be decided if this will be permanent. And it could result in a police warrant for your arrest if you contact him violating this order. Immediately, barely an hour or two after she got the paperwork, she comes in and starts ranting about her child's case, right, with her baby daddy. You just jeopardized my child's case. The amount of delusion it takes to make podcasts about me, which I never did, engage with me passively, never did that. Did you consider my case? Did you consider my son, whose name I blurred out? She says, I have nothing to say, then continues to go on for 5 more screenshots. And then she says, why didn't I contact her first before I served her a protective order? And then she keeps starting to blame me, right? And then she starts going on. And then she private messages me and says, make sure you send this to your attorney. Because remember, the paperwork says do not message him or it could result in a arrest warrant. She says, make sure this is sent to your attorney. Your legal files have been received, right? So it's her, there's her name, her profile, and she's being very specific, right? I could not believe you would do something to jeopardize his case, my reputation in his life, right? So she's blaming me because her custody battle got screwed up. Yeah, it turns out judges don't like it when you get a protective order on you, and it kind of hurts what kind of case you're trying to build. Then she says, have your attorney contact me. This hurts her son, and it doesn't matter. I was going to tell you, blah, 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 nothing. I will not pay your attorney's fees. You knew all the money she was saving was going to her son, blah, blah, blah. I'm done, and then keeps messaging me. I look foolish. I posted about her on my podcast. Not true. I don't even care so much about that. It's the fact you jeopardized my son's safety. So she's blaming me. Yep, I won't be responding, and continues to respond. I've already said bye to the people I care about. So then she starts alluding that she's going to unalive herself, right? And I'm not buying it because I got a protective order against her. I got a case to prove, and it'll look really bad if I message her through it, right? So then she tries to say bye, but then she starts logging into other YouTube accounts and messaging me. I wrecked her son's life, and just goes on and on to violate the order nonstop every day. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of messages where she claims I hurt her, I abused her son. Her son's going to be AR'd. Her son's going to be assaulted because of me. All a bunch of crazy accusations. And then we get to going back to her channel. The very first time, she actually doxes me. She says what I do for work. She lists what church I'm in. She lists my name, full name. Then she goes, there you go, send it to your attorney. Keeps trying to embarrass me and thinks that by calling me trash, by saying I'm disgusting, right? By saying I'm manipulating her. And then she says, send that to your attorney. So when we get to court, she, of course, doesn't show up. After messaging me every day, nonstop, hundreds and hundreds of messages, posting on her channel, trying to embarrass me and get me in trouble, she doesn't come to court. We go to court. She doesn't show. So I get the order granted, and I call the police. Again, I tried to go to the front desk of a police station. They gave me the runaround. So then I called my attorney, and she said, call 911, tell them it's a non-emergency. I did. I gave them all the stuff I had. They assigned a detective to my case, and we handled it right then and there. And after a couple weeks, 2 arrest warrants have been issued on her. And plain and simple, next time she gets pulled over and they run her ID, she will be arrested. She has tried to flee the state. She claims she's in one state. I'm not going to say where, but she's definitely not there. She keeps hopping house to house. But next time she gets pulled over, she will be arrested and sent back to the actual state where she has warrants out. So that's pretty much the ending to this part, right? I can give you a little bit more. I can start listing to you how unhinged some of these messages. So she goes back on her channel and she starts saying, hey, demon casters, try to cast them out of Caleb. He believes vengeance is harming a toddler. He has mental problems and makes fun of SA'd women and mentally disabled women who've been exploited. He gets joy out of it. He has a hate for women. And then she says, Caleb did that to my son. I don't want to talk about it. Caleb, do not ever make content about me again. You said you wanted vengeance. I don't know what she's talking about. You did that to an SA'd child. You helped him keep him in bondage. Do not ever contact me again or make content of me. Whoops. Then she tries to tag Darcy's account and says, unfollow me. We don't like you. And this account is a safe account for victims and believers. All right, get this, guys. This YouTube channel is called A Safe and Free Life.
Genuinely, guys, I don't care if this makes me look bad. I wish Caleb was dead. I literally had somebody tell me once that they knew how to get rid of people. I was like, oh, that's not my thing, but looking back, yeah, I wish somebody got rid of him. I wish he was dead for going after my son, but he's alive.
Okay, that sounds pretty ironic. I ain't gonna lie to you. And after all these, she'll go, I can't go into detail. I'm battling something very traumatic by someone's choice to place vengeance on me. Talking about me. Every abuser, every person, special place for you. Y'all want more? Who is next? I have more. I better hear my son's voice in the next 24 hours or I'm blowing everything up. Now that sounds like a threat, doesn't it? So it's important when you call the police to make a report, you start listing the stuff about, hey, she says she hates my guts. She wishes I was unalived and that I feel threatened. She says, double down, I have text of all of you admitting you lied about me. Yeah, I got I think I got a little bit more than that. All right, and as time goes on, now we're at late January, of a month after the hearing, over a month after the hearing, you start seeing a couple details about her story changing about our first meeting. In quotes, she puts, "It would be cool if we continued to do this and had something on you. You have a perfect body. How?" And she's trying to claim that I wanted to keep seeing her in secret. She starts referring to stuff as a secret thing, series of events, meets for coffee, goes to meeting and has demons casted out of her. Again, that's that group I told you. Goes home with the guy after he buys her drinks. She's talking about me. Is plastered before she goes home with guy. Mysterious encounter. Guy scares me into never talking about. What are you talking about? All you've done is not shut up about stuff, about the situation.
Pissed off at the asshole who went after my kid. Caleb, you're a fucking asshole. Saying it right here publicly. You're an asshole and you're not a fucking Christian. Went after a little boy.
Wakes up crying in the morning, feeling awful. Guy tries to make me laugh. I'm mad. Guy offers food to make me feel better. No, I'm sad. Guy buys me food twice. I eat McDonald's and lay in bed crying more. Guy got a job that day, becoming a blank, my job. LOL. He tells me I have a perfect body and how I'm depressed due to legal abuse. Guy then says it can be a secret thing between us. I feel guilt and tell someone around us what happened. He loses it, gets mad, tries to put me in my place. I tell him he has a peanut brain. I wound his ego. He sets out for a bloodbath. Posts back and forth, continues to slight me in his posts, and wants to act scared. So now she starts saying, I'm never dating a narcissist again, calling me a narcissist. She's saying I'm doing Satan's work. I'm too dumb to see it. While I'm inflicting harm like a jerk, I was suffering. It reminds me of when Cain killed Abel. Really, it was murderous. He's an abuser. He deserves a special place for that. Talking about hell. There are multiple key details I didn't express or explain that prove a very clear reality versus what was said. Yeah, exactly. And I'm sharing those details, and it makes you look bad and me look fine. This person knows details I didn't share. I'm sharing it now. They know parts that were missed out. I do, and I'm sharing them with everybody. They're well aware of the damages I took. Yeah, I think the damages are your fault because you can't stop outing everybody and screaming at them. That's all I'm sharing for now. Talk soon. We'll be posting content soon. Never did it, by the way. You shouldn't respond if you got a protective order. At this point, the protective order was granted. I can't respond to anything, but I'm screenshotting for the record. So she'll keep saying for the record and then lie. And then keeps going. Holds back all the shameful details. The only reason I held back telling my story till now is because I was trying to see if you'd forget about me, which you haven't, as of December 2024.
I'm gonna take it here. Hey, Caleb, would you like it if your sister was dehumanized? Would you like it if your sister was penetrated? She's Micah's age. How would you feel if your little sister was penetrated right now? How do you feel thinking of that? But you're over here trying to penetrate another child. You're trying to go after another child, and you want to sit there and be like, ooh, my arms crossed and lead in a Bible study. But you want to rape and molest another child in a church where a body says we stand for human trafficking victims. You want to rape a child in a church that says we stand for human trafficking victims. You want to say I want that child molested and I'm so mad and there's such a messed up church and I'm going to hide somewhere else and I'm going to go to another church and say, hey, what's your prayer? Can I hear your prayer? I remember the prayer of a child who asked to be with his mom and to not be molested. I remember that prayer and I tried to penetrate that child. You want to sit here and say you're a fucking Christian. I have met Satanists, Caleb. I've met Satanists who believed in bondage and bleeding and all sorts of things on people. They are not as evil as you because you are doing this shit in the church. Fucking pedophile for what you did. Shut up. I'm
A year after these messages, again, commenting on my YouTube, I hurt someone's child. Yep, over and over and over. I still think it's deranged how someone who only wanted a one-night stand called this vengeance. I don't know what she's talking about. Moral of the story, if we had a secret thing and I made you feel as great as you did in the morning, odds are we wouldn't be here. But you see, during that time, I wasn't like completely feral. What are you talking about? You can't claim someone hurt you when they are, number one, intoxicated, and two, if you literally told me it could be a friends with benefits thing and I was so mad, I remember that day. I never said we could have a friends with benefits thing. Lying. Betrayal was what you did to my child. You just lied. Take vengeance out on someone who deserves it. This isn't vengeance. This is me sharing my story. On this YouTube account, which is pretty cool, she is trying to dox me. She's trying to screenshot my stuff and tell people to come harass me. And YouTube responded by deleting her YouTube channel, which is fantastic, and it made me really happy. Then she tried to make another one, start posting stuff. I'm going to take this a step forward. Caleb went after a child victim a week before his hearing. She starts commenting on mercy culture stuff, trying to get me in trouble again. starts listing my name, accusing me of jeopardizing a hearing, accusing me of blowing up a case. But if you notice, she won't say what I did to blow up a case, though. She'll just say I blew up a case. I'm a bad person. But really, she's talking about she got a protective order against her. Caleb literally was making jokes and partnered to hurt trafficking victims. So she made a new YouTube, and she took screenshots of my channel again and posted it on that. And she says, if you want to know who the predator is, come check out this account. And guess what? She took pictures of my wedding and posted it. And she says, let's expose the predator who attacked me. And YouTube, again, that same day, deleted that account. So now we come to modern day. Throughout the year, she's got all these Instagrams and she's posting. She's going crazy on me, trying to make me look bad. It's very important to note. I think I can do one more part where I read some of the craziest stuff she said about me and a couple things about how she messaged my wife and all that stuff. But if you notice in some of these messages that she says, I wanted a secret thing and I wanted to keep meeting her with friends with benefits, and she keeps saying no, and then she starts changing the story, and she starts saying she didn't consent. She starts saying that she kept trying to say no, and I kept pressing the issue, when in all the recordings, it's very clear that I didn't do that.
So, I'm not making this out as like you, like, I didn't make it out like you raped me or anything like that. I'm saying it's shitty that like we did that, and then like that, I didn't even make you, I'm not even like.
Yeah, I mean, she's still messaging me. Like, even up until last week, she started messaging me stuff, and it's pretty creepy that she's messaging my wife and she's trying to, again, still embarrass me. She's calling my church. She has a friend that goes to our church who outed where we switched churches to, and now she's trying to contact that church. That friend came up to us and said sorry. She didn't know it was such a big deal, but still the damage is done. She keeps trying to say, this is going to follow you. I'm going to follow you to every church that you go to. It's pretty terrifying. I'd say that warrants are out. Evidence has been collected, and I think I'm presenting it in the best way I can. Eventually, when she has a mugshot, I might let y'all know, but I don't know. It's only a matter of time before she calls the police on somebody or tries to go file a police report and they arrest her. So it's only a matter of time. It's been a couple years in the making, but I'm glad I finally get some of this out and tell my story. I feel really good about it, and I feel a lot lighter. I feel like I get to chronicle a big part of my life and a big part of my story, even a big part of my testimony. It's pretty good to finally get a lot of that out. So I hope you guys enjoyed listening. I don't know if I'll make another one unless she gets arrested, but here's some of the other stuff she said that just kind of shows how the story changed over and over. And this type of stuff can get you in a lot of trouble. I got lucky that most of the people that I surround myself know me, and that they know my character. They know I don't go crazy on stuff, that I'm not a bad person, that I would never try to exploit a woman. And the people that she's contacted at my current church, they reached out to me and talked to me, and I got to show them the protective order, which clears my name. She's still reaching out to friends of mine, to my wife, to Darcy, but it's only a matter of time. My name's been cleared. I've been cleared. My work is great. My life's going good. I got married. I pushed through. Every time she tried to close a door in my life, it opened up another one, and it led me to find my wife, to find a church that I can actually grow in and make real friends there that aren't just going to take some random person at their word. So, yeah, it's not the definitive end to the story, but it's a dang good one, and it's had a happy enough ending. Eventually, she will get arrested and charged, and maybe she'll learn her lesson. But until then, I'm just gonna go on and live about my life. She messages me, just screenshot it, file an addendum to the police report. Make sure you keep the timestamps in and just report it. And every time she messages you after she gets the order, or it's another violation. It makes your case look good. So whenever she does go to court, if she doesn't take a plea deal, then she'll have to testify as to her actions, why she messaged me through all these fake accounts, why she tried to call my church, all that stuff. It's going to happen. This stuff follows you. She says that the stuff I did is going to follow me, but these are actual charges that are following her. And next time she gets pulled over, she'll get arrested. And after that, maybe it'll be done. Maybe she'll leave me alone finally. But if not, I have to keep pressing on. Life goes on. You may not always get the happiest ending to whatever you're trying to accomplish or trying to get someone crazy out of your life, but You know, at the end of the day, it's your choice whether or not you let this bug you. I could have gone into so many details about my mental health and how much all this stuff was weighing on me, getting fake accounts, fake messages, my phone buzzing every 3 seconds. But I wanted to stick to the information and to the story. And I think I've done that. And my life's great now. I have the dream job. I got my dream woman. I'm in a great church. All my friends are still my friends, despite all the false accusations. I had the stuff to back it up. I had the proof. And she has nothing. She doesn't have a single screenshot of any of the stuff she says. And she has said some outlandish stuff. So, guys, I hope this was good for you. I hope this encouraged you to kind of keep pushing on. You don't have to respond to every bad thing that's said about you, but you can just go on with your life and just keep living. And I hope that this video, as I presented it, I hope it's shown you that you can move on from it and you can continue to grow. You don't have to let this weigh you down. It can be stressful at times. You could change your, you can move and change your name, but at the end of the day, you can only kind of control how you handle stuff. So that's what I've continued to do, and that's what I'm going to do. So, guys, I hope this was an inspiring story. Her most outlandish messages, I encourage you to pause it and read it. I just put them in there as is and read them. I think they're very good. I'll talk to you later.